I'm just gonna double check everything. Make sure it is working. Just have a look at my channel. Oh, why is it not on my thumbnail? I don't know. I have to go in and change it, apparently. It's not working on my phone properly today. I'm not really sure why. Just trying to change the thumbnail on my live stream because it's not working for some reason. Okay, there we go. That should be good now. People actually know what they're clicking on now. So we're annotating chapters 3 and 4 today. Hopefully everything is working. Because looks like it's working. Alright. Chapters 3 and 4 today. Where are we up to? Number 3. I think we're annotating like 40 pages today, which is quite a bit for my simple-minded brain. It's very late here as well. Right, the smell of blood is on his breath. What does he do? I think drink it? I imagine him sipping it from a teacup, dipping a cookie into the stuff and pulling it out, dripping red. Just gonna highlight this part as well. The smell of blood, it was on his breath. Outside the window, a car comes alive, soft and quiet like a purr of a cat, and fades away into the distance. It slips off as it arrived, unnoticed. The room seems to be spinning in slow, lopsided circles, and I wonder if I might black out. I lean forward and clutch the desk with one hand. The other still holds Peter's beautiful cookie. I think it had a tiger lily on it, but now it's been reduced to crumbs in my fist. I didn't even know I was crushing it. But I guess I had to hold onto something while my world veered out of control. A visit from President Snow, districts on the verge of uprising. A direct death threat to Gale with others to follow. Everyone I love doomed. I emphasize that part as well, so I'm going to highlight it. And who knows who else will pay for my actions, unless I turn things around in this tool, quiet the discontent and put the president's mind at rest. And how? By proving to the country beyond any shadow of a doubt that I love Peter Mark. I can't do it, I think. I'm not that good. Peter's the good one, the likable one. He can make people believe anything. I'm the one who shuts up and sits back and lets him do as much of the talking as possible. But it isn't Peter who has to prove his devotion. It's me. I hear my mother's light, quick tread in the hall. She can't know, I think. Not about any of this. I reach my hands over the tray and quickly brush the bits of cookie from my palm and fingers. I take a shaky sip of my tea. Is everything alright, Katniss? She asks. It's fine. We never see it on television, but the president always visits the victors with a tour to wish them luck, I say brightly. My mother's face floods with relief. Oh, I thought there was some kind of trouble. No, not at all, I say. The trouble will start when my protein sees how I let my eyebrows grow back in. My mother laughs, and I think about how there was no going back after I took over caring for my family when I was 11. How I will always have to protect her. I'm gonna be like evil for a second and highlight this and just say until your mother abandons you. I believe she takes up residence in District 4 as a medic, actually. Correct me if I'm wrong. Astrid March, I believe her last name is, in Sunrise on the Reaping. Why don't I start your boss, she says. Great, I say, and I can see how pleased she is by my response. Since I've been home, I've been trying hard to mend my relationship with my mother, asking her to do things for me instead of brushing aside any offer of help, as I did for years out of anger, letting her handle all the money I won, returning her hugs instead of tolerating them. My time in the arena had made me realize how I needed to stop punishing her for something she couldn't help, specifically the crushing depression she fell into after my father's death. Because sometimes things happen to people and they're not equipped to deal with them. Like me, for instance, right now. Imagine being 16 and dealing with all this, man. Like, or 17, I think she is at this point. Besides, there's one model. Or maybe she's still 16 at this point. If it's 6 months after she's born in May, yeah, she's not 17 until a little bit before the games, actually. Besides, there's one little thing she did when I arrived back in the district after our families and friends had greeted Peter near the train station. There were a few questions allowed from reporters. Someone asked my mother what she thought of my new boyfriend, and she replied that while Peter was the very model of what a young man should be, I wasn't old enough to have any boyfriend at all. She followed this with a pointed look at Peter. There was a lot of laughter and comments like somebody's in trouble from the press, and Peter dropped my hand and sidestepped away from me. That didn't last long. There was too much pressure to act otherwise, but it gave us an excuse to be a little more reserved than we'd been in the capital. And maybe it can help account for how little I've been in Peter's company since the cameras left. I go upstairs to the bathroom where a steaming tub awaits. My mother has added a small bag of dried flowers that perfumes the air. None of us are used to the luxury of turning on a tap and having a limitless supply of hot water at our fingertips. I like this because it indicates the level of poverty they're actually living in. That they don't have like running water. Whereas the capital ensures that, I'm just seeing if it's leaking through the page, the capital ensures that the the victors are living in the kind of luxury that affords you running water. Whereas and also as I was gonna say, actually, I was trying to think of what I wanted to say. And also the capital would have running water. The districts just don't have the money to have something like that. Which is something that comes into play in Sunrise on the Reaping as well, actually, that running water isn't a thing. I'm gonna just write that as an annotation, the level of poverty that they're in. Their level of poverty. In the districts. We had only cold at our home in the steam and bathmen boiling the rest over the fire. They have for like bigger loads of like I don't know laundry if they need like a lot of water. They have like this cistern. They have to like fill it up. I don't really know how all that works. But the cistern actually is filled up by Hamish so that his mother can have water and they don't fill up the cistern, thus they can't bring like the running water to Hamish's family when everything's on fire. You know, we had only cold water, and I remember seeing a bathman boiling the rest over the fire. I undress and lower myself into the silky water. My mother has poured in some kind of oil as well and trying to get a grip on things. This probably has to do with like the. I lost my train of thought. Don't worry about it. So late, man. Oh my god. The first question is who to tell with anyone, my mother or Prim, obviously. They'd only become sick with worrying not Gale, even if I could get a word to him. But what would he do with the information anyway? If he were alone, I might try to persuade him to run away. Certainly he would survive in the woods, but he's not alone and he'd never leave his family or me. When I get home, I'll have to tell him something about why our Sundays are a thing of the past. But I can't think about that now, only about my next move. Besides, Gail's already so angry and frustrated with the capital that sometimes I think he's going to arrange his own uprising. The last thing he needs is an incentive. No, I can't tell anyone that I'm leaving. Anyone I'm leaving behind District 12. This here is a lot of Gail's characterization. I wasn't gonna highlight the last sentence, but I ended up doing it anyway because why not? I guess. How many chapters? How many chapters? Yeah, how many pages? Insane amount. 54. Okay, 14 pages left. There's still 3 people I might confide in, starting with Sinner, my stylist. But my guess is Sinner might already be at risk. I don't want to pull him into any more trouble by close association with me. Then there's Peter, who will be my partner in this deception. But how do I begin this conversation? Hey, Peter, remember how I told you I was kind of faking being in love with you? Well, I really need you to forget about that now and act extra in love with me, or the president might kill Gale, which I feel like Peter would not go along with. I can't do it. Besides, Peter will perform well whether he knows what's at stake or not. That leaves Hamish. Drunken, cranky, confrontational Hamish, who I just poured a basin of ice water on. As my mentor in the games, it was his duty to keep me alive. I only hope he's still up for the job. I also want to highlight this part. Because Cinna, by the end of this book, is dead, as we know. And Cinna knows the risk anyway by being associated with Katniss. He's honestly done it on purpose, if anything. Okay, I slide down into the water, letting it block out the sounds around me. I wish the tub would expand so I could go swimming, like I used to on hot summer Sundays in the woods with my father. Those days were a special treat. We would leave early in the morning and hike further into the woods than usual to a small lake he'd found and went while hunting. I don't even remember learning to swim. I was so young when he taught me. I just remember diving, turning, and somersaults and paddling around. This is something that I'm going to point out as well. The lake. The lake is mentioned in Songbirds and Snakes. It's associated with the cubby. There are some people who speculate as well that potentially Snow dumped Lucy Gray's body in that lake and he just like blocked it out for the narrative, so we don't actually know what really happened to Lucy Gray. Burdock Everdeen is also likely distantly Cobby, according to Hamish, but Hamish doesn't know how he's connected to the Cobby. The muddy bottom of the lake beneath my toes, the smell of blossoms and greenery floating on my back as I am now staring at the blue sky while the chatter of the woods was muted by the river. He'd bag the waterfowl that nested around the shore. I'd hunt for eggs in the grasses, and we'd both dig for Katniss roots, the plant after which he named me in the shallows. And this also is brought up in the movies and in the books when the coffee with Snow and I believe Janice as well go to this lake, and at one point Clark Carmine and is it Maud Ivory? In the movies, it's Clark Carmine and Maud Ivory, and I don't know who it is in the books. I think they say Cece, who's Clark Carmine. They dig up Katniss roots, and Lucy Gray has this whole moment in the movies. It's a bit short-lived in the books, which I think is better. I think in the movies it's a bit dramatic how they frame it, and it's a bit cringe, if I do say so. But it's in the movies. Lucy Gray is talking about how the Katniss isn't ready yet, which is essentially symbolizing that Katniss isn't here yet. You know, she isn't born yet. Still got another 65 years to go before the rebellion officially starts. At night, when we got home, my mother would pretend not to recognize me because I was so clean. Then she'd cook up an amazing dinner of roasted duck and baked Katniss tubers with gravy. I never took Gale to the lake. I could have. It's time consuming to get there, but the waterfowl is such easy pickings you can make up for lost hunting time. It's a place I never really wanted to share with anyone though. A place I belonged only to my father and me. I'll highlight this as well. Their relationship, which I think is really cute. Burdock Everdeen does very much haunt the narrative in a way in Katniss's story, similar to Lucy Gray haunting the story. Since the games, when I've had little to occupy my days, I've gone there a couple of times. The swimming was still nice, but mostly the visits depressed me. Over the course of the last 5 years, the lake's remarkably unchanged and almost unrecognizable. Even underwater, I can hear the sounds of commotion, honking car horns, shouts of greeting, doors banging shut. It can only mean my entourage has arrived. I just haven't time to towel off and slip into a robe before my prep team bursts into the bathroom. There's no question of privacy when it comes to my body. We have no secrets, these two people and me. Katniss, your eyebrows. Vania streaks right off, and even with the black cloud hanging over me, I have to style for her. Her aqua hair has been styled so it sticks out in sharp points all over her head, and the gold tattoos that used to be combined above her eyebrows have curled around her eyes, all contributing to the impression that I've literally shocked her. That's actually kind of fun. Octavia comes up and pats Venia's back soothingly, her curvy body looking plumper than usual next to Venia's thin, angular one. There. You can fix those in no time. But what am I going to do with these nails? She grabs my hand and pins it flat between her two pea green ones. No, her skin isn't exactly pea green now. It's more of a light evergreen. The shift in shade is no doubt an attempt to stay abreast of the capricious fashion trends of the capital. Really, Katniss, you could have left me something to work with, she wails. It's true, I've bitten my nails to stubs in the past couple months. I thought about trying to break the habit, but couldn't think of a good reason I should. Sorry, I mutter. I haven't really been spending much time worrying about how it might affect my prep team. I think I'm gonna highlight this part because I find it really interesting that she does, like, in a way, she thinks it's ridiculous, but in a way, she does care about these prep teams. She does describe them as pets several times, but you know, it's like a puppy. They're like puppies in a way. Was I getting right? Which is written down that she does still care about her capital prep team, even though they're Claudius lifts a few strands of my wet, tangled hair. He gives his head a disapproving shake, causing his orange corkscrew curls to bounce around. Has anyone touched this since you last saw us? He asked sternly. Remember, we specifically asked you to leave your hair alone. Yes, I say, grateful that I can show I haven't totally taken them for granted. This goes for my point above as well, that she does still care for them. I mean, no one's cut it. I did remember that. No, I didn't. It's more like the issue never came up. Since I've been home, all I've done is stick it in its usual old braid down my back. It seems to mollify them. And they all kiss me, set me on a chair in my bedroom, and as usual, start talking non-stop without bothering to notice if I'm listening. Olivia reinvents my eyebrows, and Octavia gives me fake nails, and Flavius massages goo into my hair and hear all about the capital. When I hit the games where how dull things have been since. How no one can wait until Peter and I visit again at the end of the victory tour. After that, it won't be long before the capital begins gearing up the quarter cloud. Isn't it thrilling? Don't you feel so lucky? Is your very first year In your very first year of being a victor, you get to be a mentor in the court club. Their words overlap in a blur of excitement. Oh yes, I say neutrally, it's the best thing I can do. In a normal year, being a mentor to the tributes is the stuff of nightmares. I can't walk by the school now without wondering what kid I'll have to coach. But to make things even worse, this is the year of the 75th Hunger Games, so that means it's also a court club. They occur every 25 years, marking the anniversary of the district's defeat with over-the-top celebrations and, for extra fun, some miserable twists for the tributes. I've never been alive for one, of course, but in school I remember hearing that for the second quarter call, the capital demanded that twice the number of tributes be provided for the arena. Teachers didn't go into much more detail, which is surprising because that was the year District 12's very own Hamish Avenue. Hamish would be preparing himself for a lot of potential schools, Octavia. I'm just like thinking about I have an obsession over quarter quells. As we know on my channel, I talk about the 25th games all the time. I'm just thinking if it reveals any information about Hamish and his games and how sunrise and everything is. And I do want to highlight a lot of this section because it's about how the games work. I'm just gonna continue highlighting until. I don't want to talk about the 50th games because of how wrong it went. So they don't get into detail about it. And there's a new protocol for each new generation to quell their new thoughts of rebellion. Hamish has never mentioned his personal experience in the arena to me. I would never ask, and if I ever saw his games televised in reruns, I must have been too young to remember it. But the Capitol won't let him forget it this year. In a way, it's a good thing. Peter and I will both be available as mentors during the quote. It's a sure bet that Hamish will be wasted. Poor Hamish. I'd be a drinker too if I was Hamish. After they've exhausted the topic of the quarter quell, my prep team launches into a whole lot of stuff about their incomprehensibly silly lives. I love that. I'm just gonna highlight that. I just love a quote like that. Actually gonna put my phone on charge quickly. Oh, knocked my camera. Whoops. Okay. I can't pick it up without knocking my camera. Like I have cords and things just everywhere right now. What is happening? All I wanted to do was charge my phone while I'm streaming, and I'm pulling cords left, right, and center, knocking my camera every which way. Okay, there we go. That should work. Now I can get back to annotating what I was actually looking at, what I was actually reading. Okay. Who said what about someone I've never heard of, and what sort of shoes they bought, and a long story from Octavia about what a mistake it was to have everyone wear feathers to her birthday party. That would be a disaster, I'm going to say. That right there. Soon my brows are stinging, my hair's smooth and silky, and my nails are ready to be painted. Apparently they've been given instructions to prepare only my hands and face. Probably because everything else will be covered in the cold weather. Bobby's badly wants to use his own trademark purple lipstick on me, but resigns himself to a pink that has as they begin to colour my face and nails. I can see by the palette center has a sign never going for girlish, not sexy. Good. I'll never convince anyone of anything if I'm trying to be provocative. Once again, not a child being sexy. Like, that should not even be a thought. Hamish made that very clear when he was coaching me for my interview for the games. My mother comes in somewhat shyly and says that Senna has asked her to show the preps how she did my hair the day of the reaping. They respond with enthusiasm and then watch, thoroughly engrossed, as she breaks down the process of the elaborate braided hairdo. In the mirror, I can see their earnest faces following her every move, their eagerness when it is their turn to try a step. In fact, all three are so readily respectful and nice to my mother that I feel bad about how I go around feeling so superior to them. Highlighting that. Love that quote. I love when Candace talks about her prep team because they're literally pets to her. But in the same way, eventually she starts to realize how the capital people are still humans, and they've lived a different life to her, but that doesn't make them any less worthy of freedom and respect. Who knows who I would be or what I would talk about if I'd been raised in the capital? Maybe my biggest regret would be having feathered costumes at my birthday party too. Exactly, yeah. Candace is beginning to see them as human. She's starting to see them as humans worthy of respect. Go. When my hair is done, I find Cinna downstairs in the living room, and just the sight of him makes me feel more hopeful. He looks the same as always, simple clothes, short brown hair, just a hint of gold eyeliner. We embrace, and I can barely keep from spilling out the entire episode with President Snow. But no, I've decided to tell Hamish first. He'll know best who to burden it with. It's so easy to talk to Cinna though. Lately we've been speaking a lot on the telephone that came with the house. Sort of a joke because no one else we know owns one. There's Peter, but obviously I don't call him. Hamish tore his out of the hall years ago. My friend Madge, the mayor's daughter, has oh my god! She referred to Madge as a friend for the first time. How cute! In the first book, she's like, I guess we're friends. No, they're friends now. That's adorable. I love it. The mayor's daughter has a telephone in her house, but if we want to talk, we do it in person. First, the thing barely ever got used, and Cinna started to call back on my talents. Here we go. This is also another thing about how the Hunger Games work, and this has got omitted from the movies as well. Every victor is supposed to have one. Your talent is the activity you take up since you don't have to work either in school or your district's industry. It can be anything, really. Anything that they can interview about. Peter, it turns out, actually has a talent, which is painting. He's been frosting his cakes and cookies for years in his family's bakery. But now that he's rich, he can afford to see real paint on the canvases. I don't have a talent unless you count hunting illegally, which they don't. Or maybe singing, which I wouldn't do for the capital in a million years. My mother tried to interest me in a variety of suitable alternatives from a list Effie Trinket sent her: cooking, flower arranging, playing the flute. None of them took, although Prim had a knack for three. Finally, Cinna stepped in and offered to help me develop my passion for designing clothes, which really required development since it was non-existent. But I said yes because it meant getting to talk to Cinna, and he promised he'd do the work. I'm going to highlight some things about the talent. And what I find really interesting to think about is just move my camera a little bit. What I find really interesting when it comes to a talent is that Hamish was likely asked to come up with a talent at some point, unless it was very likely implemented after Hamish's games as well. So, I mean, that's very much a possibility, you know. It was implemented to ensure the victors stay engaged with the games in some way. So this is how the games work here. Wow, amazing highlighting game right there. I really need to learn how to highlight, and am I going to learn how to highlight properly? No. I want to highlight this part as well. I don't have talents. Wow, okay, just straight across. That was really good. Amazing. And this is similar to Lucy Gray. I'm going to write annotations here in a minute as soon as I'm done highlighting. gonna say I wonder if Hamish was asked to have a talent to develop talent, and they quickly abandoned that idea because Hamish is Hamish. And then I'm gonna say I'm just gonna put a line here so it's like clearly separate annotations. Similar to Lucy Gray. Similar to Lucy Gray, only singing when she has something to say. Now he's arranging things around my living room, clothing, fabrics, and sketchbooks, which designs he's drawn. I pick up one of the sketchbooks and examine a dress I supposedly created. I think I show a lot of promise, I say. Get dressed, you worthless thing, he says, tossing a bundle of clothes at me. I love this interaction. It really shows how close that they've been getting. Trying to figure out where to write it, how best to write it down. Ran out of room there, but oh well. I think the scene actually makes Cinna's death a lot worse because in the movies they don't interact a whole lot, but we do get the vibe that Candace is quite close with Cinna, but they talk quite often on the phone because of Candace's talent. They're very close to each other. Like Cinna is like a father figure to Candace, and it is genuinely devastating when he is killed. I may have no interest in designing clothes, but I do love the ones Cinna makes for me, like these flowing black pants made of a thick wool material, a comfortable white shirt, a sweater woven from green and blue and grey strands of Kin's soft wool, lace leather boots that don't pinch my toes. Did I design my outfit, I ask? No, you aspire to design your outfit and be like me, your fashion hero, says Cinna. He hands me a small stack of cards. We read these off camera while they're filming the clothes. Try to sound like you care. Once again, how close they are. Like, Cinna really understands Candace at this point. Oh, that's my cat meowing in the background if you heard her. Hi, Willow. Yeah. Can't let you, like, her food bowl is in the laundry room. Willow, I can't. I can't put you to bed yet. Give me a second. Let me finish this chapter and then we'll go, okay? Just then, Effie Trinket arrives in a pumpkin orange wig to remind everyone. Oh, she's trying to get up to my camera. Willow. Now she's knocking it. Of course. Willow. Come on, dude. She's like, what is this? Willow! Yes. Yes. Okay. The camera, look, the ring light doesn't have to smell like you. Willow? No. Okay, I've had enough of this cat. Hey, come on. No. Hello. She likes everything to, you can't even see her. She likes everything to smell like her, and she's just rubbing her head on my arm now as I'm trying to like block her from knocking my camera. Willow, come on, dude. Okay, she's on the floor now. She's gone down now. She'll probably sit under my bed somewhere. Just then, Effie Trinket arrives in a pumpkin orange wig to remind everyone we're on a schedule. Pumpkin orange. Jeez. She kisses me on both cheeks while waving, and the camera crew then orders me into position. Okay, well now she's knocking the camera from the floor. Willow. She's purring away down there as well. She finds this fun. Evie is the only reason we got anywhere on time in the capital, so I try to accommodate her. I start bobbing around like a puppet, holding up outfits and saying meaningless things like, "Don't you love it?" The sound team records me reading from my cards in a chirpy voice so they can insert it later. Then I toss it out of the room so they can film my slash sinners designs in peace. Prim got out early from school for the event. Now she stands in the kitchen being interviewed by another crew. She looks lovely in a sky blue frock that brings out her eyes, her blonde hair back her matching ribbon. She's leaning a bit forward on the toes of her shiny white boots, and she's about to take flight. Like, bam, it's like something actually hits me in the chest. No one has, of course, but the pain is so real. I take a step back. I squeeze my eyes shut and don't see Prim. I see Rue, a 12-year-old girl from District 11, who was my ally in the arena. She could fly, bird-like, from tree to tree, catching on to the slenderest branches. Rue, who I didn't save, who I let die. I picture her lying on the ground with the spear still wedged in her stomach. That's a little bit of PTSD, isn't it? I want to. People often point out how potentially Hamish is the one that put Prim in front of the camera as much as she is to ensure that the capital can't kill her like the capital killed his family. Prim becoming a capital sweetheart. And you know what? I'm gonna highlight the entirety of this paragraph because it's my book and I can do that. I'm gonna just make the note count. This is PTSD. Who else will I fail to save from the capital's vengeance? Who else will be dead if I don't satisfy Snow? I realize Santa's trying to put a coat on me, so I raise my arms. I feel fur inside and out encasing me. It's from no animal I've ever seen. Ermine, he says. He tells me as I stroke the white sleeve, leather gloves, a bright red scarf. Something furry covers my ears. You're bringing earmuffs back in style. That's very interesting. I hate earmuffs. I think make it hard to hear, and since I was blasted deaf in one year in the arena, I dislike them even more. After I won, the capital repaired my earbuds to find myself testing it. Also, going to highlight this. Wow, look at how great my highlighting is there, guys. Oh my god. Brilliant. I'm so good at this, guys. Once again, PTSD. My mother hurries up with something cupped in her hand. For good luck, she says. It's the pin Madge gave me for it before I left for the games. A Mockingjay flying in a circle of gold. I tried to give it to Rue, but she wouldn't take it. She said the pin was the reason she decided to trust me. Cinna fixes it on the knot in the sky. Effie trinkets nearby, clapping her hands. Attention everyone, we're about to do the first outdoor shot where the victors greet each other at the beginning of their marvelous trip. Alright, Candace, big smile, you're very excited, right? I don't exaggerate when I say she shoves me out the door. Oh my god. For the moment I can't quite see right because of the snow, which is now coming down in earnest. Then I make out Peter coming through his front door. In my head, I hear President Snow's directive, convince me, and I know I must. My face breaks into a huge smile and I start looking in Peter's direction. Then, as if I can't stand it another second, I start running. The thing is, this is so obviously fake. Like, no wonder Snow wasn't convinced. Like, this isn't crazy in love. This is like, in theory, they see each other every day, right? Like, in my head, it's like not crazy in love. Like, it's not, it doesn't feel real. There's a very real difference between there's a very big difference between what is real with Candace and what isn't. And in the way that she acts, like I said, like she doesn't have poker face. You can tell, you can see straight through Candace. This is I think. He catches me and spins me around, and then he slips. He still isn't entirely in command of his artificial leg. Disability in the games, and we fall into the snow. Me on top of him, and that's where we have our first kiss in months. It's full of fur and snowflakes and lipstick, but underneath all that, I can feel the steadiness that Peter brings to everything. Oh my, let me highlight this. This is a good indication of their real relationship. And I know I'm not alone as badly as I have hurt him. He won't expose me in front of the cameras, won't condemn me with a half-hearted kiss. He's still looking out for me just as he did in the arena. Somehow the thought makes me want to cry, and so I pull him to his feet, tuck my glove through the crook of his arm, and merrily pull him on our way. My God, every time I highlight things, it's just a disaster. Okay, I've written a really good example of their real relationship and Candace's real feelings. The rest of the day is a blur of getting to the station, bidding everyone goodbye, the train pulling out, the old team, Peter and me, Effie and Hamish, Sinner, and Portia, Peter Silas, dining on an indescribably delicious meal. I don't remember. And I'm also highlighting food in this novel series because Holiday Games has multiple meanings in this story. And then I'm swathed in pajamas and a luminous robe sitting in my plush compartment waiting for the others to go to sleep. I know how much will be up for hours. He doesn't like to sleep when it's dark out. I did speculate when I first read this that potentially it had to do with something with his games. I think it has to do with not wanting to sleep at all because there are lots of ghosts that haunt him at night of the dead. I'm just gonna write that down. There are lots of ghosts that haunt him. When the train seems quiet, I put on my slippers and pad down to his door. Pad down to his door. I have to knock several times before he answers, scowling as if he's certain I've brought bad news. What do you want? He says, nearly knocking me out with a cloud of wine fumes. Ew. I have to talk to you, I whisper. Now, he says. I nod. This better be good. He waits, but I feel certain every word we utter on the capital train is being recorded. Well, he asks. The train starts to break, and for a second I think President Snow is watching me and doesn't approve of me combining with Hamish and has decided to go ahead and kill me now. Oh, we're just stopping for fuel. The train's so stuffy, I say. It's a harmless phrase, but I see Hamish's eyes narrowing in understanding. I know what you need. He pushes past me and lurches down a hall to a door. When he wrestles it open, a blast of snow hits us and trips out onto the ground. Hamish! Dumbass. Oh my god. Just writing down that they communicate without explicit words. Capital Intendant rushes to help, but Hamish waves her away good-naturedly as he staggers off. Just want some fresh air and only be a minute. Sorry, he's drunk. I say apologetically. I'll get him. I hop down and stumble along the track behind him, soaking my slippers with snow as he leads me beyond the end of the train, so we will not be overheard. Then he turns on me. What? I tell him everything about the president's visit, about Gale, about how we're all going to die if I fail. His face sobers, grows older in the glow of the red tail lights. Then you can't fail. He knows from experience. If you could just help me get through this trip, I begin. No, Katniss, it's not just this trip, he says. What do you mean, I say? Even if you pull it off, they'll be back in another few months to take us all to the games. You and Peter, you'll be mentors now every year from here on out. Every year they'll revisit the romance and broadcast the details of your private life. And you'll never, ever be able to do anything but live happily ever after. Full impact of what he's saying hits me. I will never have a life of Gale, even if I want to. I will never be allowed to live alone. I will have to be forever in love with Peter. The capital will insist on it. I'll have a few years, maybe, because I'm still only 16 to stay with my mother. And then I'm gonna write down an annotation that the capital took away her choice of love. What is with my highlighting today? It's worse than usual, I swear. Maybe it's because I'm half asleep. I was saying autonomy, not just choice. Autonomy. Okay, capital took away her autonomy before she understood her own feelings. I got a bit wonky at the end, but that's fine. Do you understand what I mean? He presses me. I nod. He means there's only one future. If I want to keep those I love alive and stay like myself, I'll have to marry Peter. I'm just gonna highlight it because it's like an important line, but I don't have any extra annotations to add there. How many pages is this one? Are you joking? Are you joking? That's so long, man. How long have I been streaming for? An hour. Oh my god. Great. I'll stream for another hour then, I guess. I'm never going to bed. It's like midnight. How many pages is that? Am I stupid? 65, 10, 23 page. That's a long freaking chapter. I don't want to do that. I'm going to do it anyway. Right, chapter 4, even though I don't want to do it. I slunk back to the train in silence. In the hallway outside my door, Hamish gives my shoulder a pat and says, "You could do a lot worse, you know." He heads off to his compartment, taking the smell of wine with him. In my room, I remove my sodden slippers, my wet robe and pajamas. There are more in the drawers, but I just crawl between the covers of my bed and my underclothes. I stare into the darkness, thinking about my conversation with Hamish. Everything he said was true about the capital's expectations. My future with Peter, even his last comment, of course, I could do a lot worse than Peter. That isn't really the point, though, is it? One of the few freedoms we have in District 12 is the right to marry who we want, or not marry at all. She wants to be able to marry Peter and have that choice, which at the end she does. They grow back together, as Susan Collins writes at the end of Mockingjay. And now even that has been taken away. I'm going to highlight that bit as well. wonder if President Snow will insist we have children. If we do, they'll have to face the reaping each year. And wouldn't it be something to see the child of not one but two victors chosen for the arena? Victor's children have been in the ring before. Amber, for example, always causes a lot of excitement and generates talk about how the odds are not in the family's favor. It happens too frequently to just be about odds. Yeah, Amber was purposely rigged and drawn from the reaping. Gale's convinced the Capitol does it on purpose, rigs the drawings to add extra drama. Given all the trouble it caused, they've probably guaranteed any child of 9 a spot in the games. Yeah, life, but at what cost, you know? I think with Hamish, unmarried, no family, blotting out the wildest drink, he could have had his choice of any woman in the district. And he chose solitude, not solitude. That sounds peaceful. More like solitary confinement. Was it because having been in the arena he knew was better than risking the alternative? I had a taste of that alternative when they called Mockingjay and I watched her walk the stage to her death. But as her sister I could take her place, not and forget him for a mama. I've just read in here he didn't want any more of his people to die. My mind searches frantically for a way out. I can't let President Snow condemn me to this, even if it means taking my own life. Wait, what the hell? I don't remember this part. She's gonna kill herself? Before that, though, I tried to run away. What would they do? Hang on. Oh, this is interesting. They tried to run away. What would they do if I simply vanished? I wonder if Victor has done that in the past. How interesting. What an interesting concept Cat has. Disappeared into the woods and never came out. Wow. Susan Collins knew what she was doing. Can I even manage to take everyone I love with me, start a new life, even a wild? Highly unlikely, but not possible. shake my head to clear it. This is not the time to be making wild escape plans. I must focus on the victory tour. Too many people's fates depend on my giving a good show. Dawn comes before sleep does, and there's Effie rapping at on my door. I pull on whatever clothes are at the top of the drawer and drag myself down to the dining car. I don't want to see what difference it makes when I get up, since this is a travel day, but then I don't see what difference it makes when I get up, since this is a travel day, but then it turns out that yesterday's makeover was just to get me to the train station. Today I'll get the works from my prep team. Why? It's too cold for anything to show a grumble. Not in District 11, says Effie. Where is District 11 supposed to be? My question. District 11, first stop. Where could District 11 be located that it's so far? You know, is it California? No, because that would be I don't know enough about. I don't know enough about American geography to know where the sea levels would be rising to. District 11, our first stop. I'd rather start in any other district, since this was Ruth's home, but that's not how the victory poll works. Usually it kicks off in 12 and then goes in descending district order to 1, followed by the capital. Victors, this is also how everything works. I'm just going to highlight this. Victor's district is skipped and saved for the very last. Since 12 puts on the least fabulous celebration, usually just a dinner for the tributes and a victor rally in the square. When nobody looks like they're having any fun, it's probably best to get us out of the way as soon as possible. This year, for the first time since Hamish won the final stop on this tour, will be 12 in the capital spring for the festivities. I try to enjoy the food like Hazel said, and the kitchen staff clearly wants to please me. They've prepared my favorite lamb stew with dried plums, among other delicacies. I'm going to highlight the food again. Orange juice and a pot of steaming hot chocolate wait at my place at the table, so I eat a lot, and the meal is beyond reproach. But I can't say I'm enjoying it. I'm also know that not one but Effie and me has shown up. Where's everybody else else? Oh, who knows where Hamish is, says Effie. I didn't really expect Hamish because he's probably just getting to bed. Soon as I play working on organising your garment car, he must have over 100 outfits for you. Your evening clothes are exquisite. And Peter seems probably still asleep. Doesn't he need prepping? I ask. Not the way you do, Effie replies. What does this mean? It means I get to spend the morning having the hair ripped off my body while Peter sleeps in. I hadn't thought about it much, but in the arena, at least some of the boys got to keep their body hair, whereas none of the girls did. We're gonna highlight this because sexism, which is really good, the big thing we should point out. I can remember Peter's now as I bathed him by the stream. Greg wanted the sunlight once the mud and blood had been washed away and his face remained completely smooth. Not one of the boys wore a beard, and many were old enough to. I wonder what they did to them. They did some sort of hormone treatment to both them, like to all of them. It's really gross. feel bad. My prep team seems in worse condition, knocking back coffee and sharing brightly coloured little pills. Oh my god. As far as I can tell, they never get up before noon unless there's some sort of national emergency like rain they can. I'm so happy when I grew back into, as if it were a sign that things might be returning to normal. Run my fingers along the surf, curly down on my legs, and give myself over to the team. None of them are up to the usual chatter, so I can hear every strain being yanked from its follicle. That's horrible. I have to soak in a tub full of a thick, unpleasant smelling solution while my face and hair are plastered with creams. 2 more baths followed in other, less offensive concoctions. I'm scoured and massaged and anointed until I'm raw. Phobius tilts up my chin and sighs. It's a shame Sinner said no alterations on you. Yeah, it is a shame that one of the things at the end of the Hunger Games novels is that Haymitch can be heard, or Katniss hears Haymitch yelling in the background as she's going in and out of consciousness straight after the games, and being like, "Don't, to not give her breast implants because they wanted to do that for her games, give her essentially a boob job to make her more desirable, I guess." Yeah, so we can really make you into something special, says Octavia. When she's older, says being almost pregnant, then he'll have to let us. To do what with her exactly? Jeez. What were they saying? Like, alterations, just in general. Gross. Do what? Blow my lips off like President Snow's, tattoo my breast, dye my skin magenta, and plant gems in it? Cut decorative patterns into my face? Give me curved talons or cat whiskers? I saw all those things and more on the people in the capital. Did they really have no idea how freakish they look to the rest of us? No, I don't think they do. Just gonna. I'm sitting with my laptop open and it's about to die, so I'm just gonna make sure that doesn't happen. The thought of being left to my prep team's fashion whims only adds to the misery of competing for my attention. My abused body, my lack of sleep, my mandatory marriage, and the terror of being unable to satisfy President Snow's demands. By the time I reached lunch, where Effie, Cinna, Portia, and Haymitch and Peter started about me, I'm too weak down to talk. They're raving about the food and how well they sleep on trains. Everyone's all full of excitement about the tour. Well, everyone but Haymitch. He's nursing a hangover and picking out a muffin. I loaded up on too much rich stuff this morning, or maybe because I'm so unhappy. I play around with the bowl of broth, eating my least spoonful. I'm just highlighting the food here. He's probably remembering his own victory tour at this point as well. Talking about Haymitch, that is, because he wouldn't have been on a victory tour since his own. I can't even look at Peter, my designated future husband, although I know none of this is his fault. People notice, try to bring me into the conversation, but I just brush them off. At some point, the train stops. Our server reports it will not just be for a fuel stop. Some part had malfunctioned and must be replaced. It will require at least an hour. This sends Effie into a state. She pulls out her schedule and begins to work out how the delay will impact every event for the rest of our lives. Finally, I just can't stand to listen to her anymore. This is a very teenage attitude as well from someone who isn't allowed to be a teenager. I'm gonna literally write that down in the book. Which isn't a bad thing, obviously. Katniss is going to act like a teenager. No one cares if yes now. Everyone at the table stares at me, even Hamish, who you'd think would be on my side in this matter since Effie drives him nuts. I immediately put on the defensive. Well, no one does, I say, and get up and leave the dining car. Train suddenly seems stifling. I'm definitely crazy now. I find the exit door, force it open, triggering some sort of alarm, which I ignore, and jump to the ground, expecting to land in snow, but the air's warm and balmy against my skin. Oh, is it maybe in, like, Florida? District 11? Maybe. Somewhere like around there. The trees still wear green leaves. How far south have we come in a day? I walk along how far south? Indicator of where District 11 is. Obviously, it's going to be in the South because District 11 is supposed to represent slavery, and slavery being in the South in American history. From what I understand of American history, it's very relevant. I walk along the track, squinting against the bright sunlight, already regretting my words to Effie. She's hardly to blame for my current predicament. I should go back and apologize. My outburst was the height of bad manners. And manners matter deeply to her, but my feet continue along the track, past the end of the train, leaving it behind, an hour's delay. I can walk at least 20 minutes in one direction and make it back with plenty of time to spare. Instead, after a couple of 100 meters, I sink to the ground and sit there looking into the distance. If I had a bow and arrows, would I just keep going? After a while, I hear footsteps behind me. It'll be Hamish coming to chew me out. It's not like I don't deserve it, but I still don't want to hear it. That feels like a really weird wording. I'm not in the mood for a lecture. I've worn the clump of leaves by my shoes. I try to keep it brief. Peter takes a seat beside me. Thought you were Hamish, I say. No, he's still working on that muffin. I watch as Peter positions his artificial leg. Bad day, huh? It's nothing, I say. He takes a deep breath. Look, Candace, I've been wanting to talk to you about the way you acted on the train. I mean, the last train. The one that brought us home. I knew you had something with Gale. I was jealous of him before I even officially met you. And it wasn't fair to hold you to anything that happened in the games. I'm sorry. I'm just going to highlight this whole paragraph because I think it's really important for Peter. And my cat is bumping my camera. Hello. And I'm just. This is important for the development of the relationship. For one, Gale never actually says anything. Like, he doesn't say any sort of, like, apology to them, to Katniss, so it's important. My cat is, like, brushing her face all over my camera stand. My ring light. Okay, this is important to their relationship development. Alright. His apology takes me by surprise. It's true that Peter froze me out after I confessed my love for him during the games. It was something like that. But I don't hold that against him, and she's not mad about this either. In the arena, I played the romance angle for all it was worth. There had been times where I honestly didn't know how I felt about him. I still don't, really. That's also important. Candace, still very confused about her feelings. She doesn't really have the capacity to understand them either. That works well enough. I'm sorry too, I say. I'm not sure for what exactly. Maybe there's a real chance I'm about to destroy him. There's nothing for you to be sorry about. You were just keeping us alive. But I don't want us to go on like this, ignoring each other in real life and falling into the story every time with the camera around. So I thought if I stopped being so, wounded, we could take a shot at just being friends, he says. Which makes it even worse that they have to get married, I love Peter's apology. Like, yeah, it is the bare minimum. But at the same time, the bare minimum is more, first of all, than Galen ever does. But it also means that there's like a level of mutual respect here that they develop. And it gives Hannes the capacity to understand her own feelings eventually. All my friends are probably going to end up dead, but refusing Peter wouldn't keep him safe. Okay, I see. His offer does make me feel better. Less duplicitous somehow. It would be nice if he'd come to me with this earlier before I knew the presents that I had other plans. Just being friends was not an option for us anymore. But either way, I'm glad we're speaking again. So what's wrong? He asks. I can't tell him. I pick up the clump of weeds. Let's start with something more basic. Isn't it strange that I know you'd risk your life to save mine? But I don't know what your favorite color is, he says. This is like the best conversation in the whole book. So obviously I'm gonna highlight the whole thing. A smile creeps up on my lips. Green. What's yours? Orange, he says. Orange? Like Effie's hair, I say. Orange like my highlighter? Weird. What a weird, odd color, Peter. A bit more muted, he says. More like sunset. Sunset. I can see it immediately. The rim of the descending sun, the sky streak is shot with soft shades of orange. Beautiful. I remember the tiger lily cooking, and now the Peter talking again is all I can do, not to recount the whole story by President Snow. But I know how much wouldn't want me to. I'd better stick to small talk. I love this. I love this description. Who doesn't love sunset. You know, everyone's always raving about your paintings. I feel bad I haven't seen them, I say. Well, I've got a whole train car full, he rises and offers me his hand. Come on. It's good to feel his fingers entwined with mine again, not for show, but an act of friendship. We walked back to the train, hand in hand. At the door, I remember I got to apologize to Effie first. I highlight this because their relationship is very cute and it's very platonic at this point as well. Candace doesn't feel that heteronormative pressure to them in a romantic relationship. Just written a very platonic relationship. Candace isn't feeling an amount of normative pressures to conform to romance. Don't be afraid to lay on thick, Peter tells me. So when we go back to the dining car when the others are still at lunch, I give Effie an apology that I think is overkill, but in her mind probably just manages to compensate for my breach of etiquette. To her credit, Effie accepts graciously. She says it's clear I'm under a lot of pressure, and her comments about the necessity of someone attending to the schedule only lasts about 5 minutes. Really, I got off easily. When Effie finishes, Peter leads me down a few cars to see his paintings. I don't know what I expected, larger versions of flower cookies maybe, but this is something entirely different. Peter has painted the canvas. And they're allowing him to showcase all of this? That's crazy, honestly. Some of you wouldn't get it right away. She just directly talked to the audience. If you hadn't been with him in the arena yourself. That's very odd. It's very like meta. I think the word is it's very meta. Oh, Suzanne calls to write like this. Water dripping through the cracks in our cave, the dry pond bed. A pair of hands is orangey for roots. Others any viewer would recognize the golden horn called the cornucopia clover arranging the knives inside the jacket. One of the mutts unmistakably the blonde green icon and the glimmer, stumbling as it makes its way towards us, and me. I'm everywhere. high up in a tree, beating a shirt against the stones in a stream, lying unconscious in a pool of blood, and one I can't place. Perhaps this is how I looked when his fever was high, emerging from a silver grey mist that matches my eyes exactly. What do you think? He asks. I hate them, I say. I can almost smell the blood, the dirt, the unnatural breath of the lot. All I do is go around trying to forget the remaining and brought it back to life. I remember these things so exactly. I see them every night. Once again, I'm gonna just write down like PTSD next to this, like I've done a couple times already. How many pages do I have left? Many. I know what he means, nightmares, which I was no stranger to before the games. Now plague me whenever I sleep. She had PTSD before the games. Which is understandable. She went through a lot of trauma before the games as well, anyway. But the old standby, one of my father being blown to bits in the mines, is rare. Instead, I relive versions of what happened in the arena. My worthless attempt to save her repeatedly into that. Glimmer's bloated body disintegrating in my hands. Kato's horrific anger with the mutations. These are the most frequent visitors. Me too. Does it help to paint them out? I don't know. I think I'm a little less afraid of going to sleep at night. Or I tell myself that I am, he says. But they haven't gone anywhere. This is a crazy conversation, but it's really important. It's a really important part of the books. And it should be in the movies to kind of extend on the scene with Peter like coming to comfort Katniss when she has a nightmare. Because it kind of essentially like sets up for that happening in the movies. Or it sets up for it in the books, and if they were to include it in the movies, it would set up for that whole situation better. Maybe they won't. Hamish just haven't. Hamish doesn't say so, but I'm sure this is why he doesn't like to sleep in the dark. It's because there are ghosts everywhere he turns. I don't think he likes sleeping in general. No, for me, it's better to wake up with a paintbrush than a knife in my hand, he says. So you really hate them? Yes, but they're extraordinary, really, I say. And they are, but I don't want to look at them anymore. Want to see my talent? Cinna did a great job on it. Kayla laughs. Later, the train lurches forward and I can see the land moving past us through the window. Come on, we're almost at District 11. Let's go take a look at it. We go down to the last car in the train. There are chairs and sofas to sit on, but what's wonderful is that the back windows retract into the ceiling, so you're riding outside in the fresh air, and you can see a wide sweep of the landscape. Huge open fields with herds of dairy cattle grazing in them, some of our own heavily wooded home. I want to highlight this part about District 11 because it describes what it looks like, and I think that's quite interesting. We slow slightly, and I think we might become in for another stop. But a fence rises up before us, towering at least 10 meters in the air and topped with whipped coils of barbed wire, and it makes off back in District 12. Child. Eyes quickly inspect the base, which is lined with enormous metal plates. There would be no barring under those, no escaping the hunt. Then I see the watchtowers placed evenly apart, made with armed guards, so out of place among the fields of wildflowers around them. That's crazy. I'm just gonna write a little comment that it's the district most likely to cause an uprising. They need high security to keep them in place. That's something different, says Peter. Rooted give me the impression that the rules in District 11 were harshly enforced, but I never imagined something like this. Now the crops begin stretched out as far as the eye can see. Men, women, and children wearing straw hats to keep off the sun straining up. Turn away, take a moment to stretch their backs as they watch a train go by. I can see orchards in the distance, and I wonder if that's where Rue would have worked, collecting the fruit from the slimmest branches at the tops of the trees. Small communities of shacks, by comparison, the houses in the scene are upscale. Crazy. Spring up here and there, but they're all deserted. Every hand must be needed for the harvest. And I have an obsession with highlighting everything. There's a comment. Good job. Well, thank you for joining in on the stream. I'm going to highlight everything. It's a description of how District 11 works, and it's something that I personally find very interesting, and I want to be able to be drawn to it whenever I read the novels again. So I can consider it for like maybe an analysis, maybe a video in the future, maybe just something interesting I'd like to think about when I'm just personally reading the books. On and on it goes. I can't believe the size of District 11. How many people do you think live here? Peter says, and shake my head. In school, they refer to it as a large district. That's all. No extra 50 years in the population. I think it's inferred that it's implied that the largest district in Panam. No actual figures on the population, but those kids we see in camera waiting for the reaping year, they can't be by sampling on the ones who actually live here. What do? Have preliminary drawings, pick the winners ahead of time and make sure they're in the crowd. How exactly did Rue end up on that stage with nothing but the lewd offering to take her place? Wow. Highlighted that entire page. Good job, me. I was gonna write something. It's implied. District 11 is the largest district in pen. I begin to weary of the vastness, the endlessness of this place. When Effie comes to, I want to highlight that as well. I just think it's an interesting line. When Effie comes to tell us to dress, I don't object. I go to my compartment and let the prep team do my hair and makeup. Santa comes in with a pretty orange frock patterned with autumn leaves. I think how much Peter will like the color. That's adorable. I'm gonna write down as like an annotation that's adorable. Just starting to feel safe around Peter. She's starting to feel safe with her feelings for Peter, which is very cute. Effie gets Peter and me together and goes through the day's program one last time. In some districts, the victors ride through the city while the residents cheer, but in 11, maybe because there's not much of a city to begin with, things being so spread out. Or maybe because they don't want to waste so many people while the harvest is on. The public appearance is confined to the square. It takes place before their justice building, a huge marble structure. Once it must have been a thing of beauty, but time has taken its toll. Even on television, you can see ivy overtaking the crumbling facade, the sag of the roof. The square itself is ringed with rundown storefronts, most of which are abandoned. Wherever the well-to-do live in District 11, it's not here. I want to write a note here that maybe it's nowhere. Maybe no one is well-to-do in District 11. Our entire public performance will be staged outside what Effie refers to as the veranda, the tiled expanse between the front doors and the stairs that's shaded by a roof supported by columns. Peter and I will be introduced. The mayor of 11 will read a speech in our honor, and will respond with a scripted thank you provided by the Capitol. In the movies, they're expected to come up with their own, but or no, Effie has written it out, and Peter offers to speak. I think. This chapter is so long. What did I figure out? It's 23 pages long, I think, something like that. If a victor had any special allies among the dead tributes, it is considered good form to add a few personal comments as well. Once again, how the whole thing works. I should say something about Rue and Thresh too, really, but every time I tried to write it at home, I ended up with a blank paper staring me in the face. It's hard for me to talk about them without getting emotional. Fortunately, Peter has a little something worked out, and with some slight alterations, it can count for both of us. At the end of the ceremony, we'll be presented with some sort of plaque, and then we can withdraw to the Justice Building, where a special dinner will be served. As the train is pulling into the District 11 station, Santa puts the finishing touches to my outfit, switching my orange hairband for one of metallic gold, and securing the Mockingjay pin I wore in the arena to my dress. There's no welcoming committee on the platform, just a squad of 8 peacekeepers who direct us into the back of an armored truck. Effie sniffs as the door clanks behind us. Really, you'd think we were all criminals, she says. Not all of us, Effie, just me, I think. The truck lets us out of the back of the Justice building. We're hurried inside. I can smell an excellent meal being prepared. But it doesn't look out the odors of mildew and rot. Once again, about food. They've left us no time to look around. As we make a beeline for the front entrance, I can hear the anthem beginning outside of the square. Someone's clipped a microphone on me. Peter takes my left hand, and the man's introducing us as the massive doors open with a groan. Big smiles, Effie says, and gives us a nudge. Our feet start moving forward. This is it. This is where I have to convince everybody how in love I am with Peter. The solemn ceremony is pretty tightly mapped out, so I'm not sure how to do it. It's not a time for kissing, but maybe I can work one in. The fact that that's her only like thought of romance is why she didn't like convince her. There's loud applause, but none of the other responses we got in the Capitol. The cheers and whoops and whistles, we walk across the shaded veranda until the sun of the roof runs out and we're standing at the top of a big flight of marble stairs in the glaring sun. As my eyes adjust, I see the buildings in the square have been hung with banners that help cover up our neglected state. It's packed with people, but again, just a fraction of the number who live here. As usual, a special platform has been constructed at the bottom of the stage for the families of the dead tributes. On the opposite side, there's only an older woman with a hunchback and a tall, muscular girl, I'm guessing is his sister, and Ruse. I'm not prepared for Rue's family. Her parents whose faces are still fresh with sorrow, her 5 younger siblings who resemble her so closely. The slight belts, the luminous brown eyes, they form a flock of small dark birds. That's very sad. I'm going to actually highlight all of the descriptions of their families, so I'm drawn to it when I reread the books. Like I said, if I ever want to like analyze anything, that's why I highlight so much. I really want to be drawn to it, so I want to pay attention to it because it could be something that I might like think of an idea out of in the future. So the applause dies out and the mayor gives the speech in our honor. The 2 little girls come up with a tremendous bouquet of flowers. Peter does his part of the scripted reply, and then I find my lips moving to conclude it. Fortunately, my mother and Prim have joked me, so I can do it in my sleep. Peter has had his personal comments written on a card, but he doesn't pull it out. Instead, he speaks in a simple, winning style about Fashion Room, making it to the final 8. About how they both kept me alive, thereby keeping her alive, and about how this is a debt we can never repay. This is also here, Peter knowing how to talk to a crowd. And then he hesitates before adding something that wasn't written on the card. Maybe because he thought Effie might make him remove it. It can in no way replace your losses, but as a token of our thanks, we'd like for each of the tributes families from District 11 to receive one of our winnings every year for the duration of our lives. The crowd can't help but respond with gasps and murmurs. There is no precedent for what Peter has done. I don't even know if it's illegal. He probably doesn't know either, so if he can ask in case it isn't. As for the families, they just stare at us in shock. Their lives will change forever when Thresh and Rue were lost, but this gift will change them again. I want the tribute winnings can easily provide for a family for a year. As long as we live, they will not hunger. It's another meeting for the Hunger Games, right? I look at Peter and he gives me a sad smile. I hear Hamish's voice. You could do a lot worse. At this moment, it's impossible to imagine how I could do anything better. Yes, it is perfect. So whenever I look on my tiptoe to kiss him, it doesn't seem forced at all. The mayor steps forward and presents us each with a plaque that's so large I have to put down my bouquet to hold it. Sorry is about to end when I notice one of Ruth's sisters staring at me. She must be about 9 and is an exact replica of her, down to the way she stands with her arms slightly extended. Despite the good news about the wedding, she's not happy. In fact, her look is reproachful. Is it because I didn't save her? No, it's because I still haven't thanked her. I have to highlight this. If there was anything about her we needed to highlight it. There was the true Mockingjay. I always wonder if their family if something like if they survived the war. And I wonder, did the capital pay reparations to the families of the living families of those who lost people in the games? You know, that would make sense, right? A wave of shame rushes through me. The girl is right. How can I stand here passive and mute, leaving all the words to Peter? If she had one, Rue would never have let my death go unsung. Remember how I took care in the arena to cover her with flowers to make sure her loss did not go unnoticed. But that gesture will mean nothing if I don't support it now. Wait, I stumble forward, pressuring the. I want to highlight this part as well. That it was an accurate. Katniss, without realizing, is further supporting her act of rebellion. Great, I stumble forward, pressing the plow to my chest. My allotted time of speaking has come and gone, but I must say something. I owe too much, and even if I had pledged all my winnings to the families, it would not excuse my silence today. Right, please. I don't know how to start, but once I do, the words rush from my lips as if they've been forming in the back of my mind for a long time. I want to give my thanks to the tributes of District 11, I say. I look the pair of women on Thresh's side. I only ever spoke to Thresh one time, just long enough for him to spare my life. I didn't know him, but I always respected him for his power, for his refusal to play the game on anyone's terms but his own. The Craze wanted him to team up with them from the beginning, but he wouldn't do it. I respected him for that. For the first time, the old hunched woman, as she Thresh's grandmother, raises her head and a trace of a smile plays on her lips. The crowd has fallen silent now, so silent that I wonder how they manage it. They must all be holding their breath. I turn to Ruth's family, but I feel as if I did know Ruth, and she'll always be with me. Everything beautiful brings her to mind. I see her in the yellow flowers that grow in the meadow by my house. I see her in the mockingjays that sing in the trees. But most of all, I see her in my sister Quinn. My voice is undependable, but I'm almost finished. Thank you for your children. I raise my chin to address the crowd. And thank you all for the bread. I'm going to highlight this whole paragraph here because it's important. I'm going to run an annotation as well, saying that Rue is the true start of the Mockingjay symbol. Okay. Rue is the son of the Mockingjay symbol, the true start to the rebellion. A lot of the rebellion comes out of District 11 as well. I stand there, feeling broken and small, thousands of eyes trained on me. There's long pause. Then, from somewhere in the crowd, someone whistles Rue's full note, Mockingjay tune, the one that signaled the end of the workday in the orchards. I'm gonna have to highlight here all of this active rebellion, the one that means safety in the arena. By the end of the train, I found the whistler, wizened old man in faded red shirt and overalls. His eyes meet mine. I gotta highlight all the guys, leave me alone. Let me just highlight everything. What happens next is not an accident. It is too well executed to be spontaneous because it happens in complete unison. Every person in the crowd presses three middle fingers of their left hand against their lips and extends them to me. It's a sign from District 12, the last goodbye I gave to Rue in the arena. I can't believe they aired this in the capital. And yeah, I'm gonna highlight this whole act of rebellion. I'll write a few annotations as well. said the rebellion has momentum now. And I just said I can't believe they let that answer pen out about the three-finger salute. Almost done with this chapter. If I hadn't spoken to President Snow, this gesture might move me to tears, but his recent orders to calm the districts fresh in my ears, it fills me with dread. What will he think of this very public salute to the girl who defied the capital? He'll definitely disagree. He'll definitely be mad. The full impact of what I've done hits me. It was not intentional. I only meant to express my thanks, but I have elicited something dangerous, an act of dissent from people of District 11. This is exactly the kind of thing I was supposed to be diffusing. What I've written here is just, I would argue Candace is at least semi-conscious of the consequences of her actions, because there are times where she said that she wants to not defy the capital, she wants to embarrass the capital or like use certain rules to her advantage. I try to think of something to say to undermine what has just happened to negate it, but I can hear the slight burst of static indicating my microphone has been cut off and the man has taken over. Peter and I acknowledge a final round of applause. He leads me back towards the doors, unaware that anything has gone wrong. I feel funny yet have to stop for a moment. Little bits of bright sunshine dance before our eyes. Are you alright? He asks. Just dizzy. The sun was so bright. I see his book. Okay, I thought I was on board. I'll get them, he says. I can. I answer. We would be safe inside the Justice Building by now if I had stopped. I hadn't left my flowers. Instead, from the deep shade of the veranda, we see the whole thing. A pair of peacekeepers dragging the old man who whistled to the top of the steps, forcing him to his knees before the crowd and putting a bullet through his head. I kind of want to highlight this last paragraph because to put like emphasis on the act of rebellion and consequences to the Candace's actions. I was trying to think of like what annotation to put down at the same time, and I think that's what I'm going to write down. I think it's the first time. I've written is the first time Katniss truly sees the consequences of her accidental rebellious acts affecting another person. Katniss has created a domino effect she cannot control and watch. And chapter 5, which we're not going through today. It is so late. And it's 1 in the morning for me right now. So that was it for today's stream. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Like and subscribe. But yeah, I stream every Tuesday and Thursday, so stay tuned. I'll be doing chapters 5 and 6 likely on Tuesday, but probably at a different time, maybe in the morning instead. I was just trying out a different time to see if different people watched. But I think that the mornings were probably like better. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next stream. Bye.